In 1971, a quiet corporate lawyer took over a failing paper company. He sold everything, fired nobody, built the most dominant consumer paper products company in America. 20 years of silent, disciplined, relentless execution. Nobody knew his name. In 2009, a marketing consultant gave a TED Talk. He drew 3 circles on a whiteboard. He said, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." Within a year, it became one of the most watched TED Talks in history. Everyone knew his name. Jim Collins spent 5 years and analyzed 1,400 companies to find 11 that became truly great. Simon Sinek spent one afternoon drawing 3 circles that explained why Apple makes computers and also sells music players and also runs retail stores and also makes phones. One man gave you the machine, the other gave you the fuel. And today, we are going to find out which one you actually need. This is Good to Great versus Start with Why, the Book Decoded book battle. Let's find out who wins. Welcome to Book Decoded. Today, we are doing something we have never done before on this channel. 2 books, head-to-head, no mercy. Good to Great by Jim Collins, the most rigorously researched business book ever written. Start with Why by Simon Sinek, the most widely watched business idea of the last 15 years. 7 rounds, 1 question at the end that only you can answer. Let's go. Round 1. What is each book actually saying? Good to Great says this: greatness is an operational achievement. It is built through 5 specific disciplines practiced consistently over a long period of time. No charisma required, no visionary speeches, no dramatic pivots, just the right people, the right focus, the right decisions, repeated thousands of times until the flywheel becomes unstoppable. Collins studied 1,435 companies over 5 years to prove this. He found 11 that made the leap, and every single one of them built greatness the same way, quietly, consistently, without fanfare. Start with Why says something completely different. Greatness is a communication achievement. It begins with one belief, one clear, genuine, articulate why that you state before you say anything else. And people who share that belief find you. They buy from you. They work for you. They defend you, not because you convinced them, but because you gave voice to something they already believed. Sinek built his entire argument on one framework and one neurological fact, the golden circle: why, how, what, and the fact that human beings make decisions with the part of the brain that cannot process language, only feeling. So here is the score after round 1. Collins gives you the engine, Sinek gives you the fuel. Both are incomplete without the other, but we are just getting started. Round 2. Who should actually read each book? Good to Great is for organizations that already exist, companies that are profitable but plateaued, teams that are functional but not inspired, leaders who have people, products, and processes and need a framework to transform all 3. If you've been running a business for 5 years and it is fine but not great, Collins is your book. Start with Why is for people building something from the beginning, founders who can't get anyone to care, marketers who can't explain why their product matters, leaders who have lost the energy of what they originally set out to do. If you are trying to get someone to believe in something you haven't proven yet, Sinek is your book. But here's the thing: every organization that needs Collins once needed Sinek, and every organization that used Sinek eventually needed Collins. They're not alternatives, they're stages. Round 2, no clear winner. Call it even. Round 3, and this is where it gets interesting, because these 2 books have almost completely opposite ideas about what great leadership looks like. Good to Great says the most powerful leaders are humble, quiet, self-effacing. They give credit to everyone around them and take personal responsibility for every failure. Collins calls them level 5 leaders, and his data shows something remarkable. The companies led by the most charismatic, most famous, most personality-driven CEOs were actually less likely to sustain greatness than the ones led by people you have probably never heard of. Darwin Smith at Kimberly-Clark, Joe Cullman at Philip Morris. These are not names that fill auditoriums, but they built organizations that outlasted every competitor. Start with why says the most powerful leaders are magnetic communicators. Martin Luther King Jr., Steve Jobs, the Wright brothers. These are people whose belief was so clear and so compelling that others would follow them anywhere. So who is right? Both. And understanding why both are right is the most important insight in this entire comparison. Sinek is describing the moment of ignition, the speech, the vision, the belief that creates the initial momentum. Collins is describing the decade after ignition, the discipline, the structure, the consistent execution that converts momentum into sustained greatness. You need Jobs to light the fire. You need Darwin Smith to keep it burning for 20 years. Round 3, draw, but the most important draw in the battle. Round 4, the central frameworks, and this round has a clear winner. Good to Great gives you the hedgehog concept, 3 circles, what you can be best in the world at, what drives your economic engine, what you are deeply passionate about. Where all 3 overlap, that is where you focus everything. Everything else, no matter how attractive, no matter how profitable it looks, you say no to. It is the most powerful strategic filter ever put into a business book. But here is the honest problem with it. Collins found that his great companies averaged 4 years of dialogue and debate before their hedgehog concept fully crystallized. 4 years. It's not a framework you apply in a meeting. It's a framework you arrive at after a long, honest, sometimes uncomfortable conversation with your entire organization about what you actually are. Start with why gives you the golden circle. Why, how, what. 3 rings. Communicate from the inside out. Lead with belief. Let the products and processes follow. You can apply this today, right now, before you finish this video, in your next email, your next pitch, your next job interview, your next hire. The golden circle wins round 4 on pure, immediate applicability. It is the most usable framework in either book. Sinet takes round 4. Round 5, the evidence. And this one is not close. Collins spent 5 years. He analyzed 1,435 companies. He had a team of researchers. He built comparison companies to control for industry and era. The methodology is as rigorous as business research gets. When Collins says 11 companies made the leap from good to great, he can show you exactly why, exactly how, and exactly what distinguished them from the companies that didn't. Sinek's evidence is stories, powerful stories. Apple, Southwest Airlines, Martin Luther King Jr., the Wright brothers. These are compelling illustrations of the golden circle in action. But they are not a study. They are examples selected to support a thesis. Sinek did not start with 1,435 organizations and work backward to find the pattern. He started with the pattern and found examples that fit it. This matters because it means the golden circle is an observation, a very insightful one, but not a proven law. Collins' framework has empirical muscle behind it. Sinek's framework has rhetorical power behind it. Collins wins round 5, not even close. Round 6, what each book cannot answer. And this round reveals the most important thing about both books. Good to Great cannot answer this question: how do you start? Collins' framework assumes an organization. It assumes people. It assumes a product and a market and some kind of existing momentum. He has very little to say about building from nothing, about getting the first believer, about making someone care before you have any proof that they should. Start with why cannot answer this question: how do you sustain it? Sinek tells you how to ignite belief. He tells you how to attract people who share your why, but he has remarkably little to say about what you do after they show up. How do you build the operational discipline to consistently deliver on the belief you have promised? How do you make the hard personnel decisions? How do you structure the organization to survive the founding leader's absence? Here is the round 6 verdict. They fill each other's gaps perfectly. Sinek answers what Collins cannot answer about the beginning. Collins answers what Sinek cannot answer about everything that comes after. Round 6, both books win. Because what this round really proves is that neither book is a complete answer by itself. Round 7, the final round. And this is the only one that actually matters for you personally. Which book do you read first? Here's the honest answer. If you have an idea but no organization, start with why. Clarify the belief, build the golden circle. Use it to attract the first people who share what you believe. You cannot build a hedgehog concept without people to build it with. Get the people first. Use Sinek to get them. If you have an organization but no direction, good to great. Get the right people in the right seats. Confront the brutal facts about where you actually are. Start the conversation that eventually produces the hedgehog concept. You cannot communicate a why you have not yet discovered. Find it first. Use Collins to find it. If you have neither, start with why this week, good to great this month, in that order, every time. Because you cannot build what Collins describes without the fuel Sinek provides, but you cannot sustain what Sinek ignites without the structure Collins gives you. Here is where I'm going to do something unusual. I'm not going to tell you which book wins, because the honest answer is that this is not a battle between two competing ideas. It is a conversation between two complementary ones. Sinek asks, why do you exist? Collins asks, how will you exist excellently? The greatest organizations in American history, Apple, Southwest Airlines, the ones that lasted and dominated and changed their industries, had clear answers to both questions simultaneously. They knew their why, and they built the machine to deliver on it with level 5 discipline, brutal honesty, hedgehog focus, and flywheel consistency. So here is the question I'm leaving with you. Right now, in your business, your career, your team, your life, do you need more why or do you need more how? Because the answer to that question tells you exactly which book to pick up first. Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know where you are right now.
2 books, 7 rounds, no single winner. Good to Great by Jim Collins, the most rigorously researched business book ever written. It gives you the machine. Start with Why by Simon Sinek, the most widely communicated business idea of the last 15 years. It gives you the fuel. You need both. The only question is which one you need first. If this battle gave you clarity on that, subscribe to Book Decoded. We break down the books that change how you think, how you lead, and how you live. And next week, we are doing another book battle. Which 2 books do you want to see go head-to-head? Drop it below. I'm reading every comment. New breakdown every week. See you in the next one.